Hi, my name is Mayana. Welcome to Maya Core. We're going to ignore the fact that my wig is not fully glued down. Let's address the elephant in the room right now, okay? I really just want to have some cute looks, so I threw this wig on, obviously. I didn't feel like gluing it down because I'm going to put another wig after this, obviously. So yeah, today I wanted to talk about a TV show. I want to talk about a canceled TV show that I feel like only me and my sister remember, called The 9 Lives of Chloe King. If you like this video, let me know, because there's some other canceled TV shows that I want to do, like Witches of East End, and I'm also currently watching MTV Downtown, and I would absolutely love to do a video like that. If you hear noise in the background, my mom is getting ready. She's listening to music. What are you gonna do, right? The 9 Lives of Chloe King premiered June 8th, 2011. The last episode premiered August 16th, 2011, and the show will be canceled September 2011, not even a month later. It came on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. right after Pretty Little Liars. It lasted for 10 episodes. And it premiered on ABC Family, now called Freeform, but I'm probably going to call it ABC Family because I haven't called it Freeform like ever, and I'm not going to start. This is based off of a book series by an author named Celia Thompson, which is actually a pseudonym for Liz Braswell, who now writes like Disney books. They're like the Twisted One series, their Twisted Tale series or something like that. You see them on like Target and like Walmart like all the time probably. But the books are, it's a trilogy. They're a total of 3 books. The first book being The Fallen, that was published May 25th, 2004. The Stolen, published September 1st, 2004. And The Chosen, that was published January 6th, 2004. I do have a bind up of the whole series together, but not like the book separately. The 9 Lives of Chloe King is about a teenager who's kind of like super hyper upbeat, who lives a normal life, a single mom, until her 16th birthday, when she starts to discover that she has cat-like abilities. And now not only does she has to escape these people that are after her, she also has to deal with being a normal teen and having friends, these 2 love interests that are thrusted at her, and the fact that her father has been missing for 10 years. She is trying to find, and the casting of this series is actually like pretty insane. So there's Chloe King, who's played by Skylar Samuels. You also know her in The Dove, Scream Queens, AHS, those random episodes of Life of Zack and Cody, the Waverly Place. Then you have Brian, who's played by Gray Damon. Why the hell does he have like 2 like dark romance names? Anyways, he was in Station 19, Star-Crossed, Secret Circle, like 1 episode, Friday Night Lights, Twisted, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. Then you have Alex Petrov, who's played by Benjamin Stone. He was in 10 Things I Hate About You TV show, which I would love to do a video about as well, because I feel like I actually was the only person. Then you have Amy, who's played by Gracie Phillips. She was in Teen Beach Movie, a few episodes of The Vampire Diaries. Played in one of my favorite episodes where like Elena's now a vampire, and there's like this vampire hunter that's after all of them, and like they're all singing in like the church, and she's like bleeding out. Oh, I love that episode. And like they all have to like not look, because then they'll like raise suspicions. Good ass episode. And then like Austin and Ally, obviously. And then there's Meredith King. She's not from anything I'm familiar with, but she is in a lot of stuff. All played by Ki Hong Lee, and he was in the Maze Runner movies. Duh. And you also have Jasmine, who's played by Melissa Diaz. She's now in The Rookie. She was in Narcos, Army Wives, Ben 10 movies, and a few episodes of The Vampire Diaries season 4, which I find actually kind of funny. This cast went on to do like pretty great things afterwards, to be honest. So in preparation for the show, ABC Family rolled out the 9 Paths to Chloe King, which was an online game encouraging users to uncover secrets of the Mai and find the Uniter in order to unlock an exclusive content. You will find out what a Uniter is later on in the episode when I start to actually talk about the episode, but you are entered to win a chance to visit the set, which like the show got canceled after this, so like did that really happen? Basically, and then people were encouraged to like use the hashtag 9paths, and you can actually search it on Twitter and even see like Pretty Little Liars using it to like promote it, and you can like go back and see people kind of somewhat using it. The show had 2 million viewers for the pilot episode, but it increasingly dropped as the show went on, and by the season finale it had 1 million views, which to me is a lot, but you know, TV shows, they're even greedy back then. It was also nominated for a Teen Choice Award and a Saturn Award, but which is funny because by the time it was nominated, it had already been canceled. So like, to me, that's crazy. On January 9th, 2012, ABC Family announced they wanted to release a movie for this called Nine Lives of Chloe King Salvation, but it just like never happened. And you can actually find the movie script online. I was actually originally supposed to do a video where I like read the movie script. Maybe I can do like an ASMR video where I read the movie script or something, but I don't know. The TV show was canceled due to low viewership, as we found out, and there's actually like no real reason why it was canceled. It was just like low viewership, which like doesn't make any sense to me because 1 million people is still a lot. But there are a lot of fans who were speculating that it actually got canceled because it was just like way too like promoted as like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And as a Buffy the Vampire Slayer stan, like I personally probably wouldn't have watched this either. And like they kind of like aren't really similar, so they're just like paranormal teen shows. But you know, sometimes marketing isn't that great, you know. And like, now that I think about it, ABC Family didn't do a lot of like supernatural TV shows. That was more so like the CW who did that. The most like paranormal show I can think of is Kyle XY, about like the alien guy. I never watched it, but that also got canceled. Like that doesn't count. And like, because it's an ABC, like you can really tell it's an ABC Family show. Like watching the first episode, I just feel like there are a lot of things about the show that just didn't feel like paranormal. Like it felt like in Heights, or I think like it felt like Secret Life of American Teenager, or like Switched at Birth, but like paranormal with it. Like it didn't really have like any like it had dark scenes, but I think if it had like a filter like Teen Wolf or the Vampire Diaries or even the Secret Circle did, like I think it would have worked out better for the show, because it literally just felt like, I mean, and maybe that was a point, it felt like a normal everyday teenage girl, but like that's not, I don't know. I just think that if it had like that paranormal teen drama, like a filter to it, it kind of would have made it, and like made it really emphasizing like the darkness. Like I feel like Pretty Little Liars did that a lot. There are a lot of scenes in Pretty Little Liars that are just like the woods, or just like just like one shot aesthetic scenes. And I noticed that this show doesn't do it a lot, but also because in the first episode of the Nine Lives of Chloe King, there's so much going on. There's literally not time to stop and do like aesthetic scenes, but like there's really not like a lot of those, just like your usual like transition scenes. And I definitely understand why they didn't, because they had a lot to get through. There's so many points in the first episode that I thought it was just going to be like, oh, and it's the next episode, and I would check the time and it was like 15 minutes left, because like the way it ended was just like so weird. But like I think it definitely would have helped if like it was just did a little bit better. It's just like so insane to me, because I feel like Pretty Little Liars and The Lion Game did really good at like having like dark and mysterious shows, and then like the show that actually could have utilized it the most didn't have that. I totally get that the reasoning is probably because it's not like by the same director or anything like that, but just like, I don't know, I just find it like very interesting. Now I'm gonna cut to me doing my makeup and telling you all about the first episode. Okay, so while I do my makeup really quick, I am actually just going to go through the first episode of the Nine Lives of Chloe King, just because I don't know, I basically planned this video out all within like a night. Like this wasn't like, I don't know, I just really want to get this video out, so I'm just gonna tell you what happens in the first episode just so you can get like an idea of it. But like, I'm sure if you're watching this, you've already seen it before. I guess if you're curious, you can find it online. So the first episode starts off with Chloe being pushed from the top of like a tower. It's a really long tower, and the tower is important for later on, because like when you notice it, you'll just be like, oh my gosh, the tower, like this thing's about to happen. Then it jumps to 2 days later, and it's basically Chloe getting up. It's like this typical like start of like a teen drama. Like her mom is waking her up like, oh my gosh honey, like you have to go to school. And one thing you notice about Chloe is that she's very upbeat, which I think is super different than like any other like paranormal TV show or book that I've read, and I actually really like that about her. She just like, you know how like in most YA shows the best friend in the show is like super upbeat and funky and, you know, really cool. That's how Chloe is. Like she's written as if she's like the best friend in the TV show, and I remember really loving that about her, because it was just something different. Like there was no more, and she still does have that like not like other girls like attitude towards her, but like it's not like super like prominent. So the show opens with her mom waking her up for school. It's about to be her birthday soon. She tries to do that thing where she like just, her mom's like, we have to eat breakfast together. She's like, oh, gotta run, and she like tries to like grab like an apple and like run out, like, you know, typical teen drama stuff. But her mom is like, no girl, we're gonna have breakfast together. So they have breakfast, they're talking about literally nothing. This weird scene happens where her mom is like, have fun with Paul and Amy, her best friends. And she's like, how did you know? And she's like, that's why I'm the mom and you're the parent. And it's like, why was that treated as if it's shocking? Like, of course, like, I guess because she was saying like she had to get off to school super early or whatever, because she like, I guess has to like take the bus and not drive or something like that. I don't remember the exact words. So like maybe that, but like it doesn't really make any sense. Like, of course she's gonna go hang with, like, I don't know why they like act like, oh my gosh, how do you know me so well? Like, you have two best friends. So anyway, you skip to the scene of the best friends before school. They're just like sitting about Chloe's birthday, talking about how she, like, they do like a typical like thing every year, and Chloe's like, I do not want to do the same thing anymore. I wanted to be different. Like, I want to have a first kiss. And her best friend Paul is like, hey, and she's like, that was when we were 7. Like, doesn't count. And she's like standing on the bench, and Paul's like, how are you doing that? And she's like, because I am. And while they're talking about how Chloe, like, she's, I don't know, she's just that character who like is like super funky. Like, she's like talking about how much she wants to do. She has like this light in her eyes. She's like, I want to do this and do that. And like, she's not even paying attention to like how, like, what she's saying. Like, she's not even paying attention. And like, Paul is like freaking trying to do what she did, but he can't, because they're trying to hint at like her cat-like abilities. And so he like falls, but anyways, they're talking and she wants to go to the club. So they go to the club that night. I don't even think you see them go to school that day, but whatever. They go to the club that night. They end up sneaking in because somebody gets kicked out, so they end up like sneaking in through the back door. She's meeting this guy, and it's like, are you of, he's like says something like, are you 8 of age or something, are you 16 or something like that? And she's like, no, I'm 18. And he's like, funny, because this is a 21 and up club. And she's like, oh, you caught me, please don't tell anyone. And he's like, oh, it's okay, like, I'm just here like using my brother's ID. So they end up talking. Her best friends leave her. Her two best friends leave her, but it's okay, because later, I'm mentioning this now because I'm probably not going to mention this later because it's not that important to me. Best friends end up like making out that night and like have like this like little relationship. Everything in the first episode moves so fast, which is another reason why I felt like I didn't have to like watch the whole show, because there's so much that happens in the first episode. Like, it's not like other teen dramas, especially shows right now, where it's just like slow. It like, this points to hit. Like, I feel like the show could have ended at multiple times, like during the last like 15 minutes, because it was so much happening. But I digress. So Chloe ends up picking out with this guy, and like, she achieves her dream. So she makes out with him, gets his number, goes home. And the next morning she wakes up, she goes to school, she's in the school hallway, and she's telling her best friend Amy about how she like made out with this guy. And they're just like, she's like talking, and it's like, the thing I like about Chloe, she doesn't really like, she's so into like what she's saying, she doesn't even notice her surroundings. Like, it was such a chaotic scene, but I like that. Like, it was just like, oh my gosh, like, we went to the club and we were like having so much fun, and then he leaned out and he kissed me, all while this like jock is like bouncing a basketball like right above her head. And he's just like throwing it back and forth, and it's like, why are you here, bro? And she like literally gets annoyed. She takes the basketball, she throws it down the hallway. It goes super far down the hallway, and it lands in the trash can, and everybody, including Chloe, is standing there like, and it was just like so funny, like such a like freaking YA TV show. So then I'll resort to my notes because it gets a little hazy here. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this episode. So anyways, you end up finding out that the jock is some British guy named Alec, and he ends up like cornering her later in the episode. You never see them in class this whole episode. You see them in the hallways, but you never see them in class. Or even Vampire Diaries core. Not necessarily Teen Wolf, because the Teen Wolf, like, at least you saw them in school. Like, they were always in school in Teen Wolf. The Vampire Diaries, after like season 3, mind you, they're still in high school in season 4. After like season 3, you do not see them in high school. So anyways, so Alec like corners her in the hallway, and he's just flirting with her, and she's just like, why are you flirting with me? You've never talked to me before. But it's like more corny. She calls him Jocko. It like has a lot of like Wattpad lingo. And it's also like moves so insta-lovey. Like, it moves very like Wattpad. Like, it's so Wattpad to just walk up to a girl and start flirting with her out of nowhere and just like making out with her. But I guess later on it makes sense. Like, it makes sense later on, but in the moment it was just like kind of cringe, especially her calling him Jocko. Like, She just reminded me of like a Wattpad main character. Like it was just so weird. But anyways, so he's like, he tries to kiss her, but then this girl stops him. And so then she like goes to work, and she's at work, she works in like a clothing store, and her coworkers listen to the song on her earphones, and she's like, can you turn that up? I like this song. And the coworker's like, how can you hear that? Which is like so funny, because like you can very clearly hear the song. Like also, like I have an iPod now, and I've been listening to music, and if you turn it up loud enough, you can hear a song clearly. Like them headphones work. Now maybe if she has some AirPods, I will understand, because you can like I will understand that. But like this guy walks in, he's like mysterious, and Chloe just like starts flirting with him. Then she, hold on, it gets a little mixed up, because I will say this show, like the first season is really good at like locations, and like you see her at her job, you see her at her home, you see her at school, like multiple times, like at least within the first episode. Like other teen dramas, like you would forget that the main character even has a job, which I'm pretty sure like later on in the show, like she's probably gonna like forget her freaking job, because like their job always disappears in like teen dramas. But yeah, so then she is like going outside, and this guy, I think he's like on a skateboard or something, I really don't remember what it was, it's not really important. This guy is like, he almost knocks her down on a skateboard. It's like jumps up on a car, like fully Catwoman, like just jumps up on the car, and he's like, whoa, how'd you do that? And she just like, I don't know, and then just like starts running around town, just full on running around town. So yeah, she's trying to explain to her best friend what happened, and like this guy that she met. And she's also like talking to her mom, and you find out that she's adopted from Ukraine. And it's like not even really adopted. Her dad kind of just like, they lived there for a little bit, her dad kind of like just picked her up. That was kind of fuzzy to me, because like it sounded legal, and then she was like, did you pay for me? And she's like, yeah. But I'm like, why do I not believe you though? And you also find out that her dad has been missing for like 10 years. It's not even that he's like dead or whatever, he literally just went missing, which is honestly like so sad. And I kind of wish they like talked about that more, like the feeling of like waking up and seeing someone every day, and then just like them not coming home, and like the experience of like, that's just like so terrifying to me. So then she runs into the mysterious guy, his name is Brian. They end up like getting coffee, hanging out, flirting, whatever. So on her walk home, there's like this guy that's like really omnious, and he's just like standing there, and like it was like a really weird scene, because like she got freaked out, but I don't know why, because like he was just standing there. Like it wasn't like he was like following her, like he was just like standing there. So then she just gets spooked, and she starts like running through the woods. You end up seeing the building from the very first scene, because you recognize it because it was like a really tall building. So this guy literally chases her up the stairs, and it's like a lot of stairs, and then he's like, bye Chloe, and pushes her, and she falls. And like I said, I haven't seen this in a while. And also when I was watching it, I was a teen, so I didn't really like understand a lot of stuff. But like when I was watching it, I was like, okay, like if they're cat-like people and they have 9 lives, why the freak did he just try to attempt to kill her? Like if he like knows about her. But it actually they actually end up talking about that like later on, by the way. But yeah, so she ends up falling off the building. She ends up getting up. It's like, it's not really like talked about how like the fact that and there was a bunch of people who saw her, and she just like got up and just started walking, and like everyone was like, oh my gosh. So the guy's like running down the stairs. By the time he gets down the stairs, Chloe's already like gone. She's running through the woods, and she ends up stumbling across, getting attacked, not attacked, but like the person catches her, she's pushed down, she's scared. She ends up figuring out that it's Alex and Jasmine. Oh, Jasmine is the girl who like stopped Alex from like kissing her. And you also find out that they're cousins, because she thought that that was his girlfriend. It's like really it's like really funny in like YA teen dramas, like when they see a guy with a really pretty girl, they just automatically assume that they're dating. Like, oh, like they can never just be friends or whatever, like they always have to be. And I guess I can see why you wouldn't think that they were like related, but like just to immediately be like, oh, like that's his girlfriend, like it's just so teen like YA to me. And this part is where like it gets like really info dumpy, but they end up explaining to her like they're so sorry that like they couldn't explain this in a better way. Like Alec had started to suspect that she was transforming, but he had no evidence, like he wasn't too sure, and he couldn't just assume. And then basically they end up saying that like, hey, like we're a group of cat-like people, like we're sent to watch you. We're a group of cat-like people called the Mai. We are like really ancient. We used to walk among, like we're from like a goddess, and we used to walk among humans. And and we kind of split off because we realized that we didn't want to be enslaved to them anymore. Not enslaved, but like work with them anymore. So now like humans like hunt them, and like humans and Mai cannot be together. They also can't be intimate because like Alex starts to have like this little jealousy thing, which one thing about me is I love jealousy in media. I love when a guy is jealous of a girl that he's interested in. It's just like so tea to me. I don't know, maybe I'm sick, maybe I messed up in the head. I'm actually gonna stop my base and do my eyeshadow because I completely forgot about that I want to do like an eyeshadow look today. Yeah, so he's like kind of being jealous, and I'm like, okay, this is so tea, like I'm fucking with it for real. So they kind of got me. I will say the show is like very insta lovey, like even with the guy Brian, like it was just like she's like immediately interested in him, and like even the guy at Alec, like it was just very, trust the process, it was just very like insta lovey. And throughout the episode, she's trying to call the guy that she made out with, Xavier, that was his name, find out you cannot be intimate with humans like a cat-like person. Like they either will get paralyzed or die. So like they end up going to his, they somehow find his house, which like why couldn't she find it before when she was calling him earlier in the episode and he wasn't answering? But like whatever, he's dead, and she's like freaking out. She's like, oh my gosh, I killed him. Like there's so many parts where this episode literally could have ended, but it just like kept going, which like I'm not complaining about, like I don't mind. It's just like so much going on. I'm trying to figure out like what else. Oh, there's also something called the ordeal that's like after them. And then she's like, yeah, like that guy pushed my building and tried to kill me. And she's like, what? Tried to kill you? So apparently like they all don't have the ability to have 9 lives. It's only something called the United, which is supposed to protect them. So of course, not only is she special, but she's super uber special. So like talking to her friend Amy is like, oh my gosh, me and Paul just broke up, even though they just been together, because he didn't show up. So like they didn't, she's also crazy because like he didn't break up with you, he just didn't show up, like which he ended up being kidnapped. So there's a reason why she didn't, I mean obviously she didn't know that, but like it was just like very funny to me. Like he didn't show up, she's just like, yeah, we're breaking up. Like he didn't show up one time. Like okay, like I can see if it was consistently, but like they're talking or whatever. She gets and Amy is trying to explain to her friend that like she has cat-like abilities, and she keeps saying her, and first like, girl, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, like what? So then this guy calls her and it's like basically like, oh, we kidnapped Paul. Basically he didn't really say that though, but they kidnapped Paul. So then they go and like what's her name? What's the best friend's name? Oh, Chloe and Amy, they like freaking, why do I want to do my makeup today? They like freaking show up, and she just, I guess because she has cat-like abilities, she just thinks she's just Miss Badass now, and she can just show up like that. Yeah, she just showed the hell up, and it was just like, fine, okay. Yeah, so she just shows up, she tries to fight him. She obviously like isn't trained, doesn't know anything, isn't that good at it, gets her ass beat. Alec and Jasmine show up because they've been following her this whole episode. They say that earlier, I forgot to mention that. They've been like following her this whole episode, like watching her, because they were trying to figure out like she was going to transform or not, if she was a Mai. And so they show up, it's like this big fight scene. It's super dark, so I really can't see anything. Amy somehow is in the building, and everybody's just fighting. They end up getting out. This guy like throws something, but like because I can't see, I don't understand. Like I thought she caught it in her hand, but the way that she reacted is like he threw it at her back. I didn't see anything on her back, and like if she caught it in her hand, she like almost dies. So like she couldn't have caught it, because like you're not, no matter what it is, like you're not gonna almost die from that, unless like maybe it's explained in the later episodes, but like that's giving it too much. So like it's the end of the episode, so it does that thing at the end of the episode where it's just like a song and just like what everybody's doing currently. So then you like pan over to the guy Brian, and he's talking to someone, and it's the guy from like the order who's like the boss or whatever, and he ends up calling him dad. So like you figure out it's his dad, so now you think like, oh my gosh, is this a setup? So then you're like that, and then Alec is watching her sleep, then the mom is like doing something, and Chloe is like just standing there doing, I think looking in the mirror, I don't fucking know. And then it pans to like Alec watching her outside her window, and then the episode ends. That is the recap of the first episode. It sound, when you watch, like if you do decide to watch it, like just know like it's a YA teen drama to its core, and like it to me was like ahead of its time. Like I really enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna actually read the books. I own a bind up of all 3 books. Like I do want to read it, but I just never got around to it. And people say like it's even better than the show, of course, so I'm probably gonna give it a try. But like I personally love this show. I thought it was unique. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. Watching it now and having read the Mortal Instruments, I will say that this show is very reminiscent of the Mortal Instruments. Jasmine really reminds me of Isabel, and Alec really reminds me of Jace, but Chloe does not remind me of Clary. I find Clary like very like simple and boring and just like a main character, whereas I find Chloe very interesting, just very like just different from like what we like get in like paranormal teen dramas, but like not the lore, but like how the lore is introduced. Like the whole club scene reminded me of Mortal Instruments, just like how she's thrown into this world reminded me of, well, not the club scene, but just her trying to sneak into a club at a young age and like her being thrown into this world just reminded me of it. But it's like, it's not like, it's a very unique idea, it's a very unique plotline. It's nothing like I've ever watched or read before. It just it is reminiscent of that. But I personally really liked it. I remember loving this show. I'm probably gonna finish it. I had a lot of fun making this video.